What a year this has been.
We wanted to make sure it was an authentic strip club experience.
I'm dying on the inside, dude.
What up, guys?
Audience, go! Do a thing!
I had originally set out to create a top 5 video for what games I played in 2017, but from what I've dumped my time into, each of these games deserves to be talked about. Of course, being Canadian, I can't exactly afford every game that comes out this year at full price. That being said, what I have spent my time procrastinating from, on my video making work, I have found 6 titles that I just couldn't put down. These games to me rose to the top of my frontal cortex and just would not get out. I would find myself consumed day in, day out over these games, even long after the session was done. So I present to you, in no particular order, my top 6 games that I played in the current year of 2017. To kick things off, let's delve into the mindfuck that is Evil Within 2.
No, this is not happening.
If you haven't experienced the first game, you really should if you like stealth horror games. And I truly mean, it's a stealth game in every sense of the definition. Players take control of the protagonist, Sebastian Castellanos, as they plug into the Matrix. You go through a couple scripted hallway sections and bam! Suddenly the game opens up and leaves you choosing how to proceed in this vast open area. Because of how incredibly atmospheric this game is, you're always on guard for what's around the corner. You wouldn't think it, but the level designers have been clever with creating unique situations that will leave you both regretting your life choices and enjoying the thrill of the reward. Homes everywhere to explore, train cars hanging around, back alleys teeming with death. This game has you covered. There's tons of stuff to collect, ranging from craftable components to making healing supplies, specialized ammo, or finding a leftover fire axe that will be your get out of jail free card if you get caught off guard. Essentially, it's a much superior The Last of Us than the actual The Last of Us. The zombies wandering around the zone are tremendously threatening and can fuck your shit up in a heartbeat if you're not... Oh. To anybody wandering by, this looks like a Resident Evil 4 kind of horror action game. But if you go into the Evil Within with that kind of mindset, well, let's take a look how Aaron from the Game Grumps is faring.
Sneak take. Ah, God! Hi, hello.
No, don't use the fucking gun, Aaron.
Get off me. Oh, he killed me.
Well.
Where did he come from? Where did he go?
This game deserves more attention, but most importantly, your attention. If you can handle some spooks, then you're in for a hell of a time. I highly recommend it.
What the hell?
Now, I've been debating whether or not Destiny 2 deserves to be on my list. I know a lot of my peers will sneer at the sole fact that I play it in the first place, but hear me out. For the uninitiated, Destiny 2 is a first-person shooter with MMO aspects, and like other MMOs, it relies on its social elements to create its experience. This isn't a game where you can play through all of the content offered solely on your own. The first Destiny had this issue, but thankfully as of late, Bungie has been implementing a guided game system to matchmake solo players with groups looking for an extra player to fill out their party. You can clear your way through the main campaign on your own just fine, but the post-story content will require you to plug in a microphone and make some friends. There are matchmaking dungeons, so to speak, that are 3-player 15-minute missions with a big boss at the end. After clearing the story, this is a perfect way to gear up for the high-level content and make some friends along the way. And that's the crucial point to drive home, making friends. This game gives you some optional side quests to collect some really dang cool exotic tier weapons that you'll have to complete with a friend to unlock. Like this Rat King pistol here. It was a pain in the ass getting a friend to do it with, but it's 100% worth doing. This pistol here has a bonus effect. Depending on how many players in your party are using it, it shoots faster for everybody. However, I find the most fun with the Rat King pistol is during player versus player matches. Where you get to score a kill with the weapon, it grants you invisibility with a few seconds if you reload immediately after killing somebody. Boiling it down, Destiny 2 is like Skinner's rat experiment in psychology. You push a button and get a treat. In this case, new gear or new exotic weapons. But long after you push the button and stop getting treats, you still find yourself pushing it anyways. Destiny 2. Good game with friends, worth a go. Oh yeah, another MMO baby. Before I get into my rant here, just a quick heads up to anybody possibly interested in trying this. You can create a free trial account of Final Fantasy XIV with no time limit, and up to player level 35. That's a disgusting amount of content from the base game to play. If you want to hop onto my server, I'm on Siren. Also, be sure to invite me to your in-game weddings.
They're gonna scissor tonight.
So anyways, I unsubscribed from Final Fantasy XIV quite a few years ago, before the first expansion pack, Heavensward, was released. I had my fill and I let my sub run dry to experience other games. But man oh man, once the trailers for the second expansion pack, Stormblood, was making its rounds, I knew I had to renew that sub. So in case you didn't already know, in Final Fantasy XIV, you just need one character to experience all the jobs. It's not like World of Warcraft where you have a dozen or so alternative characters for the different classes. The new jobs in Stormblood, the Red Mage and the Samurai, are really fun in some aspect and disgustingly overpowered in others. The Samurai sacrifices any utility that the other damage-dealing jobs would have in favor of raw damage. It's laughable how fast bosses go down with a group full of samurais in the party. Red Mages, on the other hand, they have access to melee, ranged defensive casting, and get healing abilities all at their disposal. It sounds kinda complicated for their gimmick at first, but bear with me. Red Mages use offensive magic spells to build up their super meters here. As the super meter grows, they can exchange the meter to deal big numbers for their melee skills. It takes a bit to get into the rhythm, but you'll have a lot of fun with this job. Back to the game itself. The zones in Stormblood are massive and have lots of areas to explore, and the main story quest really had me invested. The major city, Kagane, was very comfortable to loiter around and had a few secret areas to explore if you tried some MMO platforming. If I had to wager one of the game's biggest selling points, it would have to be the music. I do have a deep appreciation for a soundtrack that has a consistent melody, but a variation depending on the player's situation. Have a listen. That's really cool, but unfortunately my sub time ran out a few months back. I'll probably subscribe again when more story content drops, or when the next expansion pack releases. However, if someone wants to, toss me some playtime, I can't stop ya, or myself from dumping another 700 hours into this game. If you would ask me to sell you a game based on its menu system alone, all I need to say is Persona 5. For a game that took 9 years to come out, Persona 5 certainly delivered one of the best Shin Megami Tensei-based RPGs of the decade. It combines an incredibly comfy atmosphere and chill tunes to keep you both engaged and invested. Combat is quick to get in and out, looking tremendously stylish at every step of the way. It's a feast for the visual senses in every sense of the word. As for the story, The Witcher 3 was a game that came out of nowhere for me. When CD Projekt Red had a sale for the Game of the Year edition, I bought it was woefully unprepared for how good this game truly is. Like the no-clip documentaries say, when they asked the developers for what they liked the most about their games, It's the atmosphere that truly brings this game to life. By the way, if you haven't watched the no-clip documentaries on the Witcher games, you really should. They're incredibly interesting to watch. As for the game itself, the scenery, the towns, the exploration into the wild, all of it brings together a truly unique package to keep players engaged in its universe. My Polish girlfriend was stunned at how many little details there were to injecting Polish culture and heritage into The Witcher. From the tattoos on random NPCs to details in the environment, like embroideries in the inns, there's references everywhere if you know where to look. Side note here, if you're playing on the consoles, you absolutely should pick up the Polish voiceover free DLC and play with the subtitles. As good as the English localization is, there's something to it to have them playing games in their native language.
Lepiej wezwijcie jeszcze kogoś na pomoc. We trzech możecie nie dać rady.
Sam bym ci naklepał.
Gdybym miał worek na głowie i związane ręce, chociaż nie, wtedy też nie. Ciesław, Leszko, odstąpcie!
The open world style maps are full to the brim with places to explore, scenic set pieces to look at, and random side quests to pick up if you happen to fall off the beaten path. But most importantly, I, like most others, find myself playing The Witcher 3 for the real metagame, Gwent. For a card game, it's so incredibly simple to understand and get into. Just pick 10 cards and use them to win 2 out of 3 matches by having the higher attack power at the end of a round. It's a mix of playing high power cards to gain the advantage and using trap cards to reduce the attack power for a set of cards. There's a lot of thought and strategy put into this. I'm actually kind of amazed by it. Anyways, Witcher 3. Buy it if you want a game that's vastly superior to what Dragon Age Inquisition tried to do. Last but not least, I wanted to talk about a game that needs no introduction. Cuphead. For a game that started development back in 2010 in the good old Toronto, Ontario, this Canadian-started project has made headlines everywhere for its artistic statement. This fire hose-styled animation is a right pain in the ass to develop for, having to manually create new frames painstakingly, hand by hand, every time. I'm not one for making animation, but I can really appreciate the effort that went into making this game. I really don't think I need to explain much about the gameplay. It's fairly straightforward. Most of the game is a boss rush style combat with a few run and gun levels to collect currency to purchase more weapons from the shop. Fairly simple. However, for being such a simple concept for the premise, the art is the key selling point. It encourages players to hone their skills of dodging bullets and reading the boss's tells to avoid attacks. It pushes the player to get good so they can experience more of the art. They're constantly left thinking, this game is so damn cool. I wonder what the next boss will be, or the next phase of this boss fight will be. Make no mistake, this game is really difficult. But why do it alone? Bring a friend with you, so at least you're not stressed out all by yourself. But to think of this game from a future standpoint, this will be one of the very few video games that will stand the test of time. I bet my left arm that Cuphead will get port after port on the newer generation hardware without having to change a single damn thing. For that reason, everyone should experience Cuphead at least once in their life. At present time of recording, this is exclusive to Xbox One and Steam for PC players. It might come at some point to PlayStation, but I believe it's a timed exclusive for now. And there you have it. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching and remembering this year of video gaming with me. I've got a few social media links in the description below. Feel free to hit them up. Or if you're super cool, you can buy me a coffee. Also, if you'd like, leave me a comment with what you've been playing this year. I'm actually interested to read what you guys have been playing and enjoying. Until then, see you in the next video.